What is up, YouTube? I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back. And we got more basketball content today. So I just uploaded the Michael Jordan video. Finally, I know you guys have been waiting for that for a long time. I was just skimming through the comments and just reading through what you guys have been saying. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Also, on a side note, I know my thumbnails aren't the greatest. Just bear with me. You know, designing and the artistic style or side of YouTube has never been my strong suit. I mean, I never did well in art, so I'm just trying to at least put out some decent thumbnails. Anyways, just wanted to cover that real quick. Today, second video for Legends Week. I'm gonna call it the Legends Week because this whole week's dedicated for them. You know, yesterday was Michael Jordan. Today, Larry Bird. Highly requested player. I mean, it makes sense to react to Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. There's others as well. Magic Johnson, there's Kobe, there's Shaq. We'll get to them eventually. But today we're gonna be focusing on Larry Bird. Now today's video won't be as long as Michael Jordan's video. I wanna take it easy a bit today. So we're gonna be reading through his profile a bit here, through his accolades, and then we're gonna watch this video by Nonstop, uploaded 4 years ago. How good was Larry Bird actually? So this is gonna give us another sort of statistical, analytical point of view on how good he was. Because the other video that was uploaded by Nonstop was more of how he became an NBA star. This is more of a video of trying to show us why he's considered one of the best. So let's have a look. Once every generation or so, a player comes along who can truly be called a superstar. Larry Bird was that player. There we go. For 13 seasons with the Boston Celtics from 1979, 80, 1991, 1992. Bird personified hustle, consistent excellence in all. I mean, this just reminds me of John Cena. As a scorer, a passer, a rebounder, a defender team. Hold on. Why is this not working? Hello? There we go. My bad. As a scorer, passer, rebounder, defender, a team player, and perhaps above all, a clutch performer. Bird was so self-confident that he was known to waltz up to the opponent's bench before tip-off and predict a 40-point performance for himself. He was such a deadly shooter that he sometimes practiced 3 points with his eyes closed. Holy shit. Among Bird's contemporaries, perhaps only Magic Johnson was considered a better passer and was a player who he would inextricably, I probably butchered that word. Hey man, English wasn't my first language, bear with me. Be linked with forever. Few play tougher than Bird, who would leap into crowds over the and overpress tables. Here, Bird helped rebuild a Celtics franchise that had been suffering from the substandard play and poor attendance in the late 1970s. With Bird as the focal point of a well-rounded squad, the Celtics won 3 NBA titles and 10 Atlantic Division crowns. In addition to his 3 championship rings, Bird piled up an awesome collection of personal achievements. He became only the 3rd player to win 3 and the first non-center to win 3 consecutive NBA Most Valuable Player awards. He was a 12-time All-Star, a 2-time NBA Finals MVP, and a 9-time member of the All-NBA First Team. He led the league in free throw percentage 4 times. Bird's legend was born in the tiny town of French Lick, snuggled in Indiana's corn country, where he lived. His family led a Spartan life. Interesting. I'm gonna try and skim through this, see his more statistics. There we go. The Boston Celtics had selected him in the 1978 draft, hoping that Bird, who had become eligible for the NBA after his junior year, might forego his senior season, but knowing he was worth the wait, even if he didn't. In 1977-78, the Celtics had compiled a 32-50 record, their worst since the 1949-50 season. When Bird elected to return to the Indiana State for one more year, the Celtics dipped 29-53. but then he came back in 1979 and 80. And then they improved by 32 games, 61-21, to the top of the division, playing in all 82 contests. Bird led the team in scoring, 21.3 points per game, rebounding 10.4 rebounds, 143 steals, and minutes played, was second in assists, 40.5 assists per game, and a 3.58. Although Johnson also turned in an impressive first season for the NBA champion LA Lakers, Bird was named Rookie of the Year and made the first of his 12 trips to the All-Star game. That is crazy. That is actually crazy. Let's have a look. What else? Fans were filling out not only Boston Garden, which sold out the final 541 games of Bird's career, but arenas all over the country to witness Bird's exploits. There you go. In 1981-82, Bird made the first of his 3 consecutive appearances on the NBA All-Defensive second team. Even though he was relatively slow and not the greatest one-on-one defender, his anticipation and court sense made him peerless as a team defender. As many observed, he would see plays not as they were developing, but before they developed. Bird finished runner-up to Moses Malone. That's a new name for me as well. I might have read his name in the previous videos, but I haven't checked him out yet, for the NBA Most Valuable Player award. As he would the following years, Bird's 19 points in 1982 NBA All-Star Game, including 12 of the East's last 15, earned him the game's MVP trophy. It was until the 83-84, however, that the Celtics returned to the NBA Finals. By then, Bird's scoring average had reached the mid-20s, and he was averaging upwards of 7 assists. Damn, 7 assists. He also hit nearly 90% of his free throw attempts. Jesus. That is crazy, man. That is crazy. Here we go. A crafty defensive player, Bird's most famous steal came in Game 5 of the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals against Detroit. With 5 seconds remaining and the Celtics trailing 107-106, Bird stole an Isaiah Thomas inbound pass and fed Dennis Johnson, whose layup gave Boston the win. Alright, we gotta watch this. Hold on.
He missed.
Wow.
Missed by 1 with
Wow. Muted. Sorry. No, I'm not gonna watch an ad. Bird, now 30 years old, with worsening back condition and foot problems as well, would not win a 4th championship ring. But there were plenty more heroics yet to come. So in 1987-88, Bird was the first Celtics ever to record a 40-20 game with a 42-point, 20-rebound effort against Indiana. He averaged a career high 29.9 points that year, falling just 5 points short of averaging 30 per contest. Bird also won his 3rd consecutive 3-point shootout title, a feat later matched by Chicago's Bulls' Craig Hodges. In Game 7 of the 1988 Eastern Conference semifinals against Atlanta, Bird engaged in a memorable 4th quarter shootout with the Hawks' Dominic Wilkins. Bird poured in 20 points in the final period to outdo his counterpart and lead the Celtics to victory. But they fell to the Pistons in the conference finals. Damn, so he needed surgery to remove bone spurs from both heels, limited Bird to only 6 games from 1988 and 89. The following year, Bird posted the 3rd longest free throw streak in NBA history, hitting 71 consecutive attempts. Bird missed 22 games, between 1990 and 91 because of compressed nerve root in his back. Damn, man, injuries. Oh, dude, when these guys deal with injuries, it's so unfortunate, man. It sets them back big time. Condition that eventually forced his retirement. In a first-round series that year, Bird badly bruised his face in the 2nd quarter fall in Game 5 against Indiana. His back was also hurting. Bird came back in that 3rd period to help lift the Celtics to an emotional 124-121 victory. A disc was removed from his back after the season, but didn't help him that much. Damn, that sucks. But then the following year, he missed 37 games because of the continuing back problems. Man, that's a shame. In a nationally televised game against Portland in March, Bird pulled off one final miracle performance, scored 16 points in the fourth quarter. During the Celtics, last 9 points in a game-tying three-pointer with 2 seconds left, Boston won. And then Bird finished with 49 points, 14 rebounds, and 12 assists. That's a triple-double. Let's see. In one of the only noteworthy Fs of his career, Bird missed a routine layup in overtime that would have tied Game 4 of a playoff series with Cleveland that spring. The Cavaliers won in 7 games. Boston lost 3 of the 4 games, couldn't play because of his back. Man. The end of Bird's career was at hand, but not before one last achievement. A gold medal with the 1992 US Olympic Dream Team. That is amazing. Which dominated the competition at Barcelona and won millions of fans for the sport with this brilliance. And then 1992-1993 NBA season approached. Bird decided he could not continue. That was it, man. The pain was too long, too much to handle with the injuries and everything. On August 18, 1992, he announced his retirement as a player. After 897 games, Bird retired with 21,791 points, 24.3 points per game, 8,974 rebounds, 10 rebounds per game, and 5,695 assists, which is 6.3 assists per game. During his career, he shot .496 from the floor and .886 from the free throw line, retiring as the 5th all-time free throw shooter, behind Mark Price, Rick Barry, Calvin Murphy, and Scott Skiles. Man, these are new names for me. And then he was announced as a special assistant in the Celtics front office with limited duties that include some scouting and player evaluation. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to see that he continued with the sport. He was continuously involved with the sport. You know what I mean? He was bored, he missed the competition. With each passing year, the urge grew to get back into the NBA in more active capacity, following the Celtics in a decline that hit bottom in 96-97. Bird decided to take the plunge when the Celtics named Rick Pitino as the franchise's new president and coach. Bird knew any role for him in Boston would be limited one, so he cut ties and went home. Damn. Oh, by 97 he was the head coach of the Pacers. Okay. Let's see. Bunch of quotes. He pulls people together when he talks. You come into his world. That's what a coach has to do. I'm new at this game, but I can still get the job done. Bird did a fine job in 3 seasons on the bench. In his first season, the Pacers, with Reggie Miller as the main weapon, were defeated by the defending champion Chicago Bulls and Jordan in a tough 7-game conference final series. 2000 NBA Finals, the Pacers succumbed in a 6-game series to the Lakers, led by Shaq and Kobe, for the Lakers' first of 3 consecutive titles. Yeah. So 98, he resigned as Pacers coach after Indiana's final appearance. Damn, okay, he also has a passion for country music. Auto racing, golf, and the St. Louis Cardinals. Has many interests. I mean, there you go. This is just sort of like general information about him. After 2011, health issues. Okay. Then Bird returned to his role with the Pacers in 2013 before stepping down in 2017 to assume an advisory role for the franchise. I mean, another amazing player. Just by reading that, it shows you why he's a legend. We're going to be watching the video in a bit. But again, injuries, man. Injuries took him out. It's a real shame to see how bad these injuries get, and the impact they have on the players' careers, man. They just cut them short. Yeah, it's truly unfortunate. Well, accolades-wise, with Larry Bird, he won the All-NBA second team, 2-time Finals MVP, Rookie of the Year, NABC Player of the Year, 2-time First Team AP All-American, 9-time All-NBA First Team, 3-time Defensive Second Team, All-Rookie First Team, Wooden Award, 3-time MVP, All-Star MVP, AP Player of the Year, and Naismith Award. like MJ, he's done it all. He's done it all. Now we're gonna be watching this video. I've already spoken for 15 minutes, so it's gonna be 15 minutes talking and 12 minutes of this. But yeah, I'm excited for this. It's time for us to find out how good Larry Bird was.
Larry Bird was one of the best players to ever touch a basketball, and together with Magic Johnson, the biggest NBA star of the 80s. What made him so successful considering he was quite unathletic? And how would he fare in today's NBA? Did he win just because his teams were loaded? And where does he stand among the best shooters of all time? Watch the rest of the video to find out. A hick from French Lick. Bird was born into a poor family in French Lick, Indiana, a town of 2,000 inhabitants. Larry grew up a shy, introverted kid who didn't talk much, and he did most of his talking on the basketball court. He grew up to 6'9" and played at small forward, but with his understanding of basketball, he could play whatever position he wanted. Larry finished his high school career as the best scorer in school's history, and he could choose where he wanted to go to college. He started playing for Bobby Knight at Indiana University, but didn't like the spotlight and being around so many people. He then settled at Indiana State University, where the pressure was much less than with the Hoosiers. Larry averaged 30.3 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 4.6 assists in college. The Sycamores were invincible in Bird's senior year and became the #1 team in the country with a 33-win streak. Their only loss came in the 1979 NCAA Finals, where they played against Michigan State, led by senior guard Urban Johnson. Despite 19 points from Bird, Magic and his teammates celebrated the title in what was the most-watched college basketball game in history at the time. Bird was named the Collegiate Player of the Year, leaving Indiana State as the 5th-ranked NCAA scorer of all time. He was already drafted, as the Boston Celtics selected him in the NBA draft in 1978, hoping that Bird, who qualified for the NBA as a junior, would skip his senior year. He opted to stay in Indiana, and when he finally arrived in Boston, the Celtics looked nothing like their championship selves, with consecutive losing seasons. Bird then single-handedly caused the biggest turnaround ever seen in the NBA at the time.
He pretty much carried the team.
Record from the season before by 32 wins and finished with 61 wins and 21 losses. Although his arch-rival Magic Johnson had an impressive season and won the title with the Lakers, Bird was named the Rookie of the Year with the average of 21.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. He also made the All-Star team.
That is crazy.
First-team All-NBA, and even finished 4th in the MVP voting, and proved he could transform a mediocre team into a great one all by himself.
It just shows you how good he is.
After Bird's rookie year, the Celtics had a busy offseason. Legendary Red Auerbach worked his magic and brought 2 new faces to Boston that would form one of the biggest dynasties in NBA history. Auerbach robbed Golden State by sending them the 1st and 13th pick in the 1980 draft, in exchange for center Robert Parrish and the 3rd pick, which became Kevin McHale. Along with the newly formed Big Three, the Celtics also had an all-star point guard, Nate "Tiny" Archibald, young and athletic forward Cedric Maxwell, and a few well-integrated role players that made the team complete. The head of the snake was, of course, Larry Bird, who was 2nd in MVP voting, en route to a league-leading 62-20 record. The Celtics avenged the loss to the Sixers from the previous year, and after a tough 7-game series in the Eastern Finals, they were in the NBA Finals once again. There they would be met by the Houston Rockets, led by prime Moses Malone, who was
Moses Malone is a new name as well.
At the time. Malone averaged 23 and 16 in the series, but the Celtics were too good of a team and would win the title with 4.
I mean, look, obviously there are going to be names that I haven't heard of before, especially with these OG players. When I watch these videos, there are going to be a lot of names that I'm not too familiar with. If I missed out on someone that you think, I should react to or sort of record a video about them, let me know in the comments. Because obviously, look, I wouldn't be surprised if I missed out on someone.
4 games to 2. Bird averaged 15 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists for the series. But the finals MVP went to Cedric Maxwell, who led the Celtics in scoring with 18 points per game. And when everybody already saw the new Green Dynasty, 2 bad years ensued, despite Bird's all-around excellence and McHale's improvement. They once again were the #1 seed in the East. Bird was the All-Star Game MVP, but Philadelphia retaliated for a close defeat in the Eastern Finals. And this time, they won in 7 games. The year after, the Celtics regressed even more, finishing as a 3rd seed and getting swept in the 2nd round by the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, snap.
After that, Coach Bill Fitch resigned and was replaced by Casey Jones, who won 8 titles in the Bill Russell era as a player. The change bore fruit. The team was refreshed with the young shooter Danny Ainge and veteran point guard Dennis Johnson, and played the best basketball in the NBA, finishing with a 62-20 record.
Wow.
After 3 years of coming in second, Larry Bird finally won the regular season MVP with 24.2 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 6.6 assists on average. The Celtics steamrolled to the finals, where a known foe awaited. It was, of course, Magic and the Lakers. The title was decided in Game 7, where Larry Bird led the Celtics to their 15th NBA title. Bird was named the Finals MVP, and he finally had his revenge over Magic, who defeated him in the NCAA Finals of 1979. The following season, the Celtics were even better in the regular season. Bird repeated as MVP, and McHale repeated as the 6th Man of the Year. They got to the finals again, with the same opponent. After the Celtics won Game 1, 148-114, in a game that was dubbed the Memorial Day Massacre, it seemed like the Celtics were going to dominate the Lakers and repeat as champions.
But
However,
then,
the Lakers had other plans, and especially Kareem was determined to defeat the Celtics. Kareem averaged 25.7 points, 9 rebounds, and 5.2 assists in 6 games, on 60% shooting. And the Lakers have finally won the NBA Finals against the Celtics for the first time in 9 tries. 1986, the greatest Celtics team ever and the pinnacle of Bird's career.
Here we go.
After the
Here we
finals
go.
loss, Auerbach made another clever move. He traded Cedric Maxwell to the Clippers for Bill Walton, once one of the most talented centers in the league, who accepted the role of a 6th man on the Celtics, while Kevin McHale moved to the starting lineup. The Celtics won 50 out of 51 home games that year, which is a record that still stands and likely will never be broken. Larry Bird experienced the absolute peak of his game and basketball brilliance in 85-86. He deservedly won another MVP and became the only player other than Wilt and Bill Russell to win the award in 3 straight seasons. The 85-86 season birthed several games that proved the endless basketball genius of Larry Bird, and most notable is the left-handed game. Before the game against Portland, Bird surprised his teammates and journalists by saying that he would shoot the whole game with his left hand because he wanted to motivate himself for a relatively meaningless regular season game.
Interesting.
How much did he score? Just 47 points, 14 rebounds,
nothing special.
11 assists,
Nothing
with a
special.
game-winning shot, and 22 points scored with his left hand.
Just a
out of
triple-double.
sheer boredom and fun. And those are the reasons why he was called Larry Legend. Apart from that, he also scored a career-high 60 points on the Atlanta Hawks earlier in the season. Almost everything he put up toward the basket went in, and he got into such a zone that the Hawks bench jumped off their chairs and cheered, after which they received hefty penalties from the Hawks coach, Mike Fratello. Throughout the game, the commentator noted that what he was watching was the biggest shooting exhibition in basketball history, and at the time, it truly was. The Celtics won 67 games in the regular season and lost just 1 game in the playoffs.
That is
on their way to the
insane.
finals. There, they would be greeted by the Twin Towers of Houston, Ralph Sampson, and Hakeem Olajuwon, who defeated the Lakers in the West Finals. But nobody could touch the Celtics that season, who were one of the most talented teams ever assembled. Bird was 2 rebounds and 3 assists shy of averaging a triple-double in the finals, and he deservedly won his 2nd Finals MVP. Final years, injuries, and the dream team. In
This is where the injuries
1987,
kicked in.
The Celtics had a very difficult season. Their number 2 pick, Len Bias, tragically passed away after the draft, and they suffered many injuries during the season and the playoffs. But Larry Bird was too good, and they still advanced to the finals after 2 7-game series against the Bucks and the Bad Boy Pistons, where Bird made one of the most legendary plays and stole the inbounds pass from Isaiah Thomas that won a crucial Game 5 for the Celtics. And in the finals again, it was the Lakers for the 3rd time in 4 years. Because LA was much more rested coming to the finals, the Celtics did not have enough gas in the tank to stop the fast-paced showtime.
Which is fair
Another
enough.
24-10-5 for the series, but it wasn't good enough, and Magic got the best of him once again. Next year, Bird had maybe one of the best statistical years of his career. He averaged 30 points on 50, 40, and 90 shooting, a feat he achieved the previous year as well, proving that he's the best shooter who ever played at the time. The Celtics reached the conference finals, but it would be their last hurrah as the Pistons finally got over the hump and managed to beat them. In the offseason, Bird sustained a severe back injury from chopping wood
the back
home in
injury. Here we
Indiana.
go.
He was one of the best basketball players in the world who had millions of dollars, but he was still the hick from French Lick, who chopped his own wood when he needed to, and I respect him even more for that. The back injury and surgery on both
Yeah, he didn't let the fame and all the money get to him. I respect that.
Achilles tendons caused him to miss almost the entire 88-89 season. However, even debilitated, Bird was better than most players in the league, and despite needing to stretch for more than 2 hours to be able to run, he was still very
Holy.
productive. He was named an All-Star each of the last 3 seasons, along with some memorable performances, like a game in the 1991 playoffs where he suffered a concussion, but then pulled a Willis Reed and came back to the game, scored 17 points in the second half, and won the series for the Celtics. Unfortunately, the toll on his body was getting too much to bear, and he ended his career in 1992, when he finally became teammates with his good friend Magic Johnson on the Dream Team. Bird flew off into the sunset with the gold in Barcelona, retiring as the best small forward and the best shooter to ever play. Legacy. Trash-talking god, top 10 player ever. One of the most famous Larry Bird trash-talking stories is from the 1986 three-point shooting contest, when the legend walked into the locker room and asked all the other participants who's coming in second after him. Of course, he went on and swished near every three-pointer and won, all without taking his jacket off. Bird would win the three-point shooting competition the next 2 years as well, and before Reggie Miller came along, there was no argument who's the best shooter ever. On the 26th of December 1990, Indiana's Chuck the Rifleman Person said he's going bird hunting before the Celtics game.
Ooh.
Bird replied that he'd got a Christmas present for him, and while Chuck was on the bench, Bird got the ball in the corner just in front of the Pacers bench. He hit the jump shot, turned to Chuck, and said Merry effing Christmas. And that's who Larry Bird was, and how he talked. He was the ultimate
that.
competitor.
I love
He had
that.
all the skills in the world to back it up. He'd tell players where he would get the ball, what he was going to do, and then do it. And there was nothing they could do to stop him. He accused the opposing team of putting a white guy to guard him because he felt that was disrespectful. And if you watch Space Jam, you know that Larry isn't white. He's clear. Bird would drink half the bar under the table. Sometimes he'd fight people in the bar as well, and then go to the game the next day and dominate, as if nothing happened. Bird was a unique player, and there was nobody like him. At first glance, his moves look almost clumsy, far from physically dominant or athletic. He rarely dunked. His vertical was average at best. He never played exceptionally fast. From the neck down, in basketball terms, he was nothing special. From the neck up until the end of his fingertips, he was pure genius. There's no doubt that he would be a great player in today's era, where we can see players like Doncic and Jokic dominate the game without great physical talent. Bird was one of the top 10 players who ever played, and one of the best pure shooters ever. He was the best player in the NBA for almost an entire decade, despite the brilliance from Magic and the athleticism of Michael Jordan. And like Magic Johnson said, there will never be another Larry Bird.
There will never be another MJ. There will never be another Larry Bird. Another, Magic Johnson. These legends, the OGs, they've had such an impact on the sport. Larry Bird, man. So this video it went over the same statistics and achievements as well as the injuries that he dealt with, like the one that we read on the NBA profile. But man, Larry Bird was good, dude. He said in a video, they mentioned that he was the greatest shooter of his generation, and he didn't have any sort of outstanding physical attributes, but he still sort of pushed through that boundary and became one of the best. And even though with his injuries, he still wanted to play. If he had to stretch for 2 hours, he stretched for 2 hours. The thing with these legends is that, and just the basketball players in general, it's the passion for the sport, but as well as the mentality that they have going into basketball. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, this video was pretty good. Again, it just went into more detail about how Larry Bird played, his impact, And it's crazy how Larry Bird alone helped the Celtics improve so much, and he took them to the finals. But yeah, Magic Johnson, his rival, didn't want him to win. Man, we gotta react to a video from Magic Johnson this week, for sure. You know, I planned the first two videos being MJ and then Larry Bird. Those two were the first two names that came to mind. As for the rest of the week, I'm just gonna go randomly pick random legends from the list. Could be Kobe, maybe Shaq, Johnson, who knows? I'll let you guys guess. Damn, voice crack. But yeah, I didn't want this video to be too long. I mean, it's 30 minutes, so it's not like that's not too long, but it's not too short. But it's enough of an introduction to Larry Bird. Just remember, guys, every first video for a player is sort of just an intro to them and what they've achieved, and you know, sort of, it's a look for me. It's for me to sort of have a little peek on the player and their history and how long they've been playing, what they've achieved. So yeah, there was this other video by Nonstop that I wanted to watch. I think it shows how he became, his journey to becoming an NBA star. We're gonna leave that one for another week, so we're gonna watch that. Don't worry. And now, you know, and the thing is, I think the best thing to do with these legends is to go for the more story, documentary style videos. We'll watch some highlights for sure, but for the most part, it's gonna be these types of videos. You know. So if you have any more recommendations for Larry Bird or Michael Jordan or just or some of the legends, let me know. I'm open to suggestions. But yeah, guys, if you've come across this video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, helps the channel a lot. Appreciate you guys for all the love and support you guys have been showing me. The content is not gonna stop anytime soon. As long as I have the time, I'm going to be pumping out content for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy them. And as I mentioned, any suggestions, recommendations, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, if you want to be part of the Discord, part of the community, I'll leave the link in the bio as well. We've got a sports channel there, so if you want to send us anything, feel free to do it there. And, you know, maybe I'll check them out the next stream, which I haven't planned yet. Also, Twitch link will be in the bio. And until the next video, guys, you take care. Stay safe. Keep on grinding. See you guys soon. Bye.